Honorable members, I think it is in order for you to appreciate
Dr. Bright, you can sit
Dr. Bright Kameli with a round of applause. Now, the first thing you need to understand about Dr. Bright is that Dr. Bright is what is called an ethical hacker. And the operative word here is ethical, meaning that outside there are people who are hackers, but they're not ethical hackers. And what you need to think about in this space is that when you think about the online space, you're thinking about the websites where you visit. And where you're visiting is the internet, the normal internet. However, as big as the internet is, there is yet another world that is called the dark web. And this dark web is as deep and as vast as what you're seeing on the internet. Meaning that there are people like Daktari here who are sitting in the dark web doing this and not doing it ethically. Now, I've got members of the Committee on Communication, Information and Innovation, and they'll tell you that when this committee came to office in this session, in this parliamentary session, our first order of business was to investigate an issue about data collection by an international company that was called WorldCoin. So as we were busy approaching the elections in the last, in our last election, somebody landed in Kenya with some orb-shaped devices and came and said to Kenyans, give us your data and we shall pay you something. And they say to them, we shall pay you in cryptocurrency. So Kenyans were lining up at KICC and they were handing over their data. Not only were they giving out their names, their fingerprints, they were also giving out very specific biometric data. And when our committee did an inquiry, we had to call in these gentlemen and this committee of parliament, and I have the honorable member from Nandi Hills. I saw the member for Nandi Hills, but I also have the member for KEO South, who is also in our committee, who will tell you that the information we got is that these people landed into Kenya and they were giving out money to Kenyans and saying to them, we will register you on WorldCoin and you shall get yourself some cryptocurrency, the data that we're taking from you. Now you can imagine, your private data is your name. Your name, you share it with many people. You've got your look. There is a semblance that you share with many other people. You've got your fingerprint. Your fingerprint now starts to distinguish you. But now when you talk about biodata, where they are scanning your iris, you're getting to a point where this is data that is very specific to only you. And Kenyans were lining up at KICC, surrendering their biodata for the inducement of a very few coins. Now, this is Dr. Bright, an ethical hacker. Just think about all the other Dr. Brights that are out there in the world collecting all manner of data from all manner of people around the globe. Now, that is one way to think about it. Think also about a Kenya Kwanza government that comes to power at a time where the only services that are online are around 400, 500 services. And then with the drive that Kenya Kwanza government has done, today we have moved from 400 services that are online to around 22,000, if only the member would allow for me to prosecute this. You get to a point where we are moving from around less than 1,000 services online to 22,000 services online, meaning that each and every government agency is probably transacting business online. Now, how much data of Kenyans is up there and how much protection is there? Now, one thing I would like to propose is that as you're making your recommendations of committees that we should propose for the next parliament, one committee that must be proposed is the Committee of the Future. Because as you can see today as Parliament, we are sitting as the Committee on Communication, Information and Innovation, a committee that was hived from the Committee of Energy. The business that we are transacting as a Committee on Information and Innovation has to do with what you would call the second industrial revolution, if you were to call it so. The advancements that have happened from the days of email and phones to where we are today, talking about those things that are happening in the fourth industrial